Ding. You are challenger number 100. Please proceed immediately to capture the heroine's heart. I stared at the mental image of 99 tombstones in my mind and sank into deep contemplation. The previous guy bankrupted his entire fortune trying to please her, only to be friend-zoned. The guy before him tried the domineering CEO approach and got his legs broken by the male lead. I looked around at my billion-dollar penthouse. Capture her heart? Capture my ass. I decided right then and there to rot in luxury and enjoy my wealth. The system in my head garbled with anxiety. Host, you are exhibiting passive resistance. I call it cutting my losses. Don't you want a sweet romance? I want a romance that doesn't require a death wish. The system finally compromised. Fine. As long as it's true love, it doesn't matter who it is. Human or dog, I don't care. Then why did you force the previous 99 guys to chase the same woman? Because she's special. She has to be the one. I scoffed. You're not an AI. You're just a digital simp, aren't you? The electronic voice in my brain screeched. Warning. Passive resistance detected. Level 1 shock penalty in 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. A numbing jolt shot from my tailbone straight to the top of my skull. My hand didn't waver as I swirled the vintage 82 Bordeaux in my glass. That's it. The system glitched. It probably hadn't expected its 100th host to be such a tough nut to crack. Host, please correct your attitude. This is not a game. I ignored it and pressed the intercom button. Elena, close the windows in the living room. A crisp, professional female voice came through the line. Yes, Mr. Sterling. The system roared in my head. The heroine is standing in the rain outside. This is a golden opportunity. Why are you closing the windows? The rain is too loud. I'm trying to nap, I said indifferently. Julian Sterling, do you believe I can electrocute you to death right now? I pulled up the rulebook bound to the system in my mind and flipped to the last page. Article 7, Section 3. If the host dies accidentally, the system will be recalled for factory reset. Serial number 007. This is your 100th host, and it's your last chance, isn't it? If I die, you're finished too. The system went completely silent. I downed the red wine in one gulp. Damn, that felt good. Light footsteps approached from behind. It was Elena. She was dressed in a perfectly tailored executive housekeeper's uniform, her posture impeccable, her long hair swept up in a severe bun, revealing only the curve of her pale neck. She latched the windows, sealing out the wind and rain. Then, she brought over a steaming bowl of herbal broth. Mr. Sterling, the wind is strong tonight. Drink this to warm up. Her voice was steady, void of emotion. But I noticed her fingers curled slightly around the bowl, betraying her tension. I took the bowl and casually praised her. You're always so thoughtful. The tips of Elena's ears turned red instantly, and she quickly lowered her head. It is my duty. The system popped up again, its tone dripping with sour jealousy. What's so good about an NPC who just fetches water? She can't compare to a single strand of the heroine's hair. I let out a cold laugh. She knows when I'm cold. The heroine only gives me a fever from infection. I finished the broth, feeling warmth spread through my limbs. To hell with the mission. I was going to take a vacation in this world. The system seemed to accept its fate, compromising that as long as it was true love, it was fine. But I knew it hadn't given up. That night, I had a nightmare. It was a montage of the miserable deaths of the previous 99 challengers. Number 30 embezzled his family's charity fund to buy the heroine limited edition earrings, only to be kicked out and starved to death. Number 66 took a knife for her when she was harassed by thugs, dying in a filthy alleyway with 3 stab wounds. Number 98 was the guy whose legs were broken. I could practically hear the sickening crunch of bone and his desperate wails in the rainy night. No, don't hit me anymore. Please. I bolted upright in bed, drenched in cold sweat. I don't want to die. I murmured, my voice trembling. I thought no one heard me, but I didn't know that outside the door, Elena was covering her mouth, tears sliding silently down her face. She thought I was terminally ill, a fool who only dared to weep for me in the shadows. The system forcibly issued a mission. Main quest. Attend the Starlight Charity Gala and make first formal contact with the heroine, Bella Sinclair. Failure penalty. Full body level 2 electric shock, duration 10 minutes. I pinched the bridge of my nose. Fine, you win this round. Elena, prep the car. We're going to the Starlight Gala. Elena paused for a second, but quickly recovered. Yes, sir. Do you need a gift prepared? No. I looked at the handsome, wealthy face in the mirror and curled my lip. I was the best gift, but unfortunately, I was also a death warrant. The banquet hall was a sea of shimmering lights and expensive perfumes. The system broadcasted excitedly in my brain. She's over there, the one in the white gown. Quick, this is your chance to shine. I followed its indicator. Bella Sinclair was indeed beautiful, a face of pure innocence, proud as a swan, surrounded by a crowd of trust fund babies like stars around the moon. The moment I saw her, a violent compulsion seized my heart. My knees went weak, threatening to buckle. My hand involuntarily moved toward my pocket, as if I were hiding some priceless treasure to offer her immediately. It was the muscle memory of challenger number 45. That poor guy had knelt and presented a diamond the size of a pigeon egg on their first meeting, only to be thrown out as a lunatic. I bit the tip of my tongue hard. The sharp pain brought a moment of clarity. I used every ounce of strength to suppress the pathetic urge. Cold sweat soaked my dress shirt. Bella seemed to sense my gaze. She glanced at me arrogantly, her eyes holding a mix of disdain and scrutiny. The system was so excited its data nearly exploded. She's looking at you. You're in her heart. I told you, you're so handsome. She'd definitely fall for you. I couldn't be bothered to reply. Just then, a commotion erupted at the entrance. The male lead, Damien Cross, heir to the Cross Empire, made his domineering entrance. He walked straight to Bella, his eyes filled with unmistakable possessiveness. A clueless rich kid tried to toast Bella. Damien snatched the glass away, his gaze cold as ice. The system started barking orders again. Quick, go block the drink for her. This is your moment to show loyalty. Go. I stood rooted to the spot. Was it joking? Block the drink? And get destroyed by Damien right there? However, Elena, standing beside me, saw my face turn pale and thought I was unwell. She took a step forward, discreetly shielding me, her posture ready to deflect any impact. The system's electric current began to sizzle in my brain. The intense pain made me dizzy. Elena handed me a glass of water. Mr. Sterling, please have some water. Don't bother me. I almost roared. Fighting the damn current, I shoved the glass away. It shattered on the floor with a crisp sound. The surrounding gaze instantly focused on us. Elena's face went white. She looked at me, her lips trembling, but she said nothing. She silently retreated into the shadows of the corner, like a child who had done something wrong. I saw her head bowed, scrubbing at the hem of her jacket where the water had splashed. In that moment, an inexplicable irritation rose in my chest. That irritation outweighed even the pain of the system's shock. Center stage, Damien and Bella were displaying their affection as if no one else existed. The system was still nagging sourly. If you just tried harder, that spot could be yours. Look how sweetly she's smiling. I didn't look at Bella. My gaze remained fixed on the figure in the shadows. I think I messed something up. To completely break free from the plot's gravity, I decided to go abroad. Officially, it was to inspect overseas projects. In reality, I was taking Elena on vacation. I needed to get away from Bella and Damien, or the system would play me to death. Before departure, the system started acting up again. According to Deep Affection Rule Number 9, you must give the goddess a farewell gift to show your longing. The database has matched the optimal gift, your mother's heirloom jade bracelet. I opened the safe. The translucent green bracelet lay quietly in its velvet box. Under the system's expectant gaze, I slammed the safe shut. Snap! Then, from another box, I took out a diamond necklace. It was the heart of summer, something I'd casually won at an auction a few days ago. I walked up behind Elena, who was packing my luggage. Here, for you. Elena jumped, turning to see the necklace in my hand. Her eyes went wide. Mr. Sterling, this is too expensive. I can't accept it. Performance bonus, I said concisely. I put on her myself. The cold diamonds touched her warm skin, and she went rigid. Once it was clasped, she immediately and carefully took it off, placing it into her inner pocket as if hiding a hot potato. The system let out a screech of mockery. Put a necklace on a servant, and she's still a servant. If that were on the heroine's neck, it would be legendary. You're wasting resources. She's not worthy. The system's psychological abuse continued. It even began reading Elena's inner thoughts and broadcasting them to me in a malicious tone. Mr. Sterling just pities me. An orphan like me, being able to serve him for a lifetime is already enough. I dare not hope for anything else. The suitcase handle slipped from my hand and clattered to the floor. My heart felt like it was being pricked by 1,000 tiny needles. A cold, killing intent, for the first time, surged uncontrollably within me. Shut up. My voice was ice cold. The system, startled by the murderous intent in my tone, went quiet for a second. The airport. Inside the VIP lounge, I sipped coffee leisurely. The system was pulling strings again. It had somehow maneuvered the hero and heroine to be here, right in the adjacent waiting area. Bella's luggage was overweight, and she was arguing with the ground staff, looking ungraceful. The system was ecstatic. Quick, opportunity knocks. Go upgrade her seat. Use your black card. Show her your power. I put on my sunglasses and stood up. Grabbing the anxious Elena by the wrist, I walked straight to the VIP boarding channel without looking back. Bella's awkward voice faded far behind me. The system screamed in frustration inside my head. Julian, you're a block of wood. You missed a massive opportunity. I ignored it. As the plane took off, I looked through the porthole, watching the airport shrink. The irritation in my heart finally dissipated a little, but remembering the thought the system had broadcasted, my chest felt tight again. I turned to look at Elena beside me. She sat bolt upright, hands on her knees, like a schoolgirl. Sensing my gaze, she tensed. Sir, do you need something? I paused, then asked, why aren't you wearing the necklace? She froze, a blush rising on her cheeks. She whispered, It's too precious. I'm afraid I'll lose it. I knew she was lying. She just felt she didn't deserve it. The thought made my chest tighter. We chose a top-tier ski resort in Aspen for our getaway. The scenery was beautiful, the air crisp. I thought I could finally have some peace. But I forgot, the system was the biggest variable. That afternoon, I was reading by the fireplace while Elena organized documents. The system suddenly blared a piercing alarm. Avalanche warning detected. In 30 minutes, the east side of the resort will be buried. Before I could react, it shouted excitedly. Here it is. The hero saves the beauty. The heroine is in the cafe on the east side. It even projected a 3D map in front of me, clearly marking Bella's location and a so-called optimal conquest route. If you rush over now and block the first impact for her, her affection points will shatter the ice. True love route unlocks immediately. I frowned and looked around the room. Where's Elena? The system answered impatiently. I don't know. She's just a housekeeper. Why do you care? My heart sank like a stone. I immediately pulled up the resort surveillance. Elena wasn't in the suite. She had left 5 minutes ago, heading toward the east wing. I remembered. I had casually mentioned that I left my prescription sleep aid in the other room. That room was at the far end of the east wing. Save the heroine? Elena is still in there. I threw down the book, grabbed my coat, and bolted. The system shrieked insanely. Host, you're crazy. The heroine is the core of the mission. If the housekeeper dies, she dies. I can hire 10, 100 more for you. Mission failure. Double penalty. A violent electric current instantly coursed through my body. I convulsed uncontrollably, my vision going black. But I gritted my teeth, dragging myself forward step by step. I had only one thought. The previous 99 guys died for that ethereal, true love. This time, I was going to save the fool whose eyes were filled only with me. As I rushed into the blizzard, fighting the agony, fragments of memory exploded in my mind. They were the final moments of my predecessors. Every time they failed, every time they were destitute, every time they died in humiliation, there seemed to be a blurred figure. That figure would silently clean up their mess, collect their bodies, and erect a nameless tombstone in a deserted corner. That figure wore the same uniform Elena was wearing now. It turned out, in every lifetime, there was an Elena by their side. But not one of them had ever looked back. I charged into the building just as it began to shake violently. The lobby was chaos. I saw Bella. She was wrapped in Damien's arms, screaming as they ran toward the emergency exit. They were safe. On the other side, in a corner where the support beams were about to snap, Elena was shielding a metal case with her body, trapped by falling debris. It was my document case, containing nothing but unimportant old papers and a bottle of pills. The system was still screaming hysterically. Left. Go left. That's the heroine. Save her, and the mission is complete. Without hesitation, I sprinted to the right. Amidst the choking dust and the roar of falling boulders, I tackled the girl who was covered in dust and trembling all over. Mr. Sterling. A second before darkness fell, I heard her voice in my arms, choked with sobs, speaking carefully. Sir, I saved the medicine. You can sleep well tonight. My eyes burned hot. Using my last ounce of strength, I roared in my consciousness at the damn system. Do you see this? This is what you call true damn love. I woke up in the hospital. My body ached, but it was mostly superficial. Elena, who had taken the brunt of the impact for me, wasn't so lucky. Her left leg was fractured, encased in a thick cast. The system analyzed the data coldly in my head. Report to host. Calculation shows this action resulted in a loss of 1,000 conquest points and 1 affection upgrade opportunity. If you had chosen to rescue the heroine, current affection would have reached 30 points. Shut up. My voice was hoarse, but carried a chill colder than ever before. If you waste one more word, I will jump out of this window right now and wipe your entire performance record to 0. The system went silent. The world was finally quiet. I turned my head to look at Elena, sleeping in a hospital bed. She was pale, lips bloodless, brows knit tight, as if in a nightmare. Yet even so, her hand was still tightly gripping the deformed metal document case. My heart felt like it was being squeezed by a giant hand, painful enough to stop my breath. Countless images flooded my mind. 5 years old, chased by the neighbor's German shepherd, her small body shielded me, taking the bite on her calf. 10 years old, I broke grandfather's favorite antique vase. She stepped forward, silently taking the blame, locked in the dark room for a day and night. 18 years old, I took over the family business, drowning in spreadsheets I didn't understand. She stayed with me, brewing coffee cup after cup, staying up for 3 straight nights to help me organize the data. I finally realized the previous 99 me's, myself included, were incredibly blind. When Elena woke up, I was sitting by her bed. Her first reaction wasn't to check her injuries, but to struggle to sit up. "I'm sorry, Mr. Sterling. I've caused you trouble." Her voice was weak and terrified. I reached out, firmly pressing her shoulder to make her lie back down. "Quiet." My tone was heavy, and she flinched. "From today on, you're forbidden to call me sir or Mr. Sterling." Elena's eyes filled with tears instantly, the color draining from her face. She looked at me in terror, her voice shaking. Are you firing me?" Seeing her like this, I felt a mix of heartache and amusement. I leaned in close, enunciating every word clearly. "No. It's time you change how you address me. Call me by my name. Julian." I initiated my doting mode, but the effect seemed counterproductive. I peeled an apple and handed it to her. She accepted it with terror, as if holding a bomb, afraid to eat it. I had the kitchen make her favorite fish soup and fed her myself. She went rigid like a robot with a preset program, mechanically opening her mouth and swallowing. The system finally couldn't hold back the warning. Host behavior anomaly detected. Severe deviation from character profile. Checking for virus intrusion or possession. I ignored it. The system switched tactics, broadcasting enemy intelligence. Warning. Male lead Damien has launched a fierce offensive on Bella. He sent 999 blue roses today. Heroine affection up by 10 points. Oh, I raised an eyebrow. Perfect. Order 9,999 red roses. Send them to this hospital. System. Host. That creates prestige for the heroine. Why send flowers to a housekeeper? It's a waste of money. I have money. I'm happy to do it. Is it your business? Half an hour later, the entire VIP ward, including the corridor outside, was buried in vibrant red roses. The rich scent was almost suffocating. The nurses were red-eyed with envy. But Elena, surrounded by the sea of flowers, looked ready to cry. She thought I was using her as a shield, putting on a show for Bella Sinclair to see. That night, while I was out taking a call, she asked me carefully, her voice thick with tears. "Julian, how long do we have to act? I will cooperate fully. Are you trying to make Miss Sinclair jealous?" I stood at the door of the hospital room, phone in hand, listening to her words, so humble they belonged in the dust, and felt waves of acid churn in my stomach. So, in this world ruled by simp logic, sincere love was something so incredibly hard to believe in. I pushed the door open and walked to her bedside. "Elena." I looked into her eyes and spoke with absolute seriousness. "This isn't an act. I'm serious." Her pupils contracted sharply, as if she'd heard a fairy tale. Seeing her disbelief, I sighed. It seemed getting her to accept reality would take time. But that was fine. If I had nothing else, I had money and patience. I would use my actions to tell her, and that idiot system, exactly who was the only one for Julian Sterling. As it turned out, without my harassment and gifts, the relationship between the hero and heroine wasn't going smoothly. Without me as the perfect spare tire and ATM for comparison, Bella started feeling Damien wasn't attentive enough. Damien felt Bella was spoiled and pretentious. They argued every 3 days. The system was as anxious as a cat on a hot tin roof. It even started begging me. "Host, I beg you, go flirt with the heroine. Just say a few cheesy lines. The male lead will get jealous and play the hero, and their relationship will stabilize." I peeled a tangerine for Elena, replying slowly. I'm taking Elena to the amusement park. No time. Elena's leg wasn't fully healed, so she was in a wheelchair. I pushed her, enjoying a rare leisurely time in the park. But enemies walk narrow roads. In front of the carousel, we ran into the arguing couple. Bella was weeping like a pear blossom bathed in rain. You don't love me. I'm not in your heart. Damien looked impatient. Bella, have you made enough of a scene? Bella spotted me instantly, and Elena beside me. Her crying paused, and a flicker of expectation flashed in her eyes. What was she expecting? That I'd rush over like all the previous challengers, acting as her knight, coaxing her, comforting her? I ignored her completely. I turned and bought Elena the biggest cotton candy in the park. The colorful sugar spun in the sunlight like a small rainbow. Elena held the cotton candy, bigger than her face, looking a bit lost, but her eyes sparkled. The system spammed my brain. She's looking at you. She regrets it. She definitely regrets not choosing you. Quick, confess now. Win her over. The noise gave me a headache. I mocked it internally. Look closely. That look she's giving me. Doesn't it look like she's watching a wallet that accidentally fell out of her pocket? System. I pushed Elena's wheelchair past them slowly. I didn't even bother giving them a glance. Then the drama happened. Damien's gaze fell on Elena, sitting in the wheelchair holding the cotton candy. Perhaps out of curiosity or something else, he looked a second too long. Those 2 seconds lit Bella's fuse. Damien, what are you looking at? Do you think that little servant is better than me too? She pointed at Elena and screamed. I stopped, my face darkening. She could insult me, but insulting Elena was off limits. Before I could speak, Damien roared back impatiently. You are simply unreasonable. With that, he turned and walked away without looking back, leaving Bella alone, crying even louder. I watched the farce, finding it ironic. So-called destiny amounted to this. I pushed Elena forward. Behind us, Bella's crying seemed to carry a trace of regret. But what did that have to do with me? In my world, the sun was shining, and the cotton candy was sweet. That was enough. I took Elena home. The resort wasn't convenient for recovery. I told my mother about my intentions regarding Elena. On the other end of the phone, my mother was silent for a long time. The system laughed gloatingly. Ha ha. See, how could a prestigious family accept a housekeeper as a daughter-in-law? Your mom is definitely coming to break up the lovebirds. Now the plot can finally get back on track. I was a bit uneasy too. After all, my mother was known as the Iron Lady of the business world. The next day, my mother's private jet landed on the villa's helipad. She walked in wearing a haute couture suit and sunglasses, looking aggressive. Elena turned pale with fright, instinctively trying to hide behind me. Leaning on her crutches, she shook like a leaf in the autumn wind. I took a deep breath, stepped forward, and shielded Elena completely behind me. I looked at my mother, my tone firm. Mom, this is the woman I've chosen. I'm certain about her. Behind me, Elena gripped the hem of my jacket tightly. My mother took off her sunglasses, revealing shrewd, sharp eyes. She looked me up and down. Then, she did something no one expected. She slapped me on the back hard. You brat. You finally wised up. Me? Question mark. System. Logic error. Logic error. Shouldn't wealthy families care about status and strategic marriage? My mother ignored our shock. She bypassed me and walked straight to Elena. Under Elena's terrified gaze, my mother took her hand. The Iron Lady, whose aura had been 10 feet tall a moment ago, now spoke with incredible gentleness. Elena, dear, you've suffered all these years. This house, inside and out, has been held together by you. This stupid son of mine, aside from having some money, is useless. I saw a long time ago. You're a good girl. I was always worried you wouldn't look twice at him. Elena was completely stunned. Tears fell like broken beads, uncontrollable. She had always thought she was just an orphan living under someone else's roof, a high-level servant. She never imagined that in the owner's eyes, she was already family. My mother took out a handkerchief and gently wiped her tears. Don't cry, your leg is still hurt. From now on, let Julian serve you. If he dares to bully you, tell me, and I'll deal with him. Elena cried harder, but she was smiling. It was the first time I'd seen her smile so brilliantly, like a child who finally got the candy. The system crashed in my brain, babbling nonsense. Data disorder. World line deviation. Villain assist. This isn't scientific. Watching my mom and Elena chatting intimately like a real mother and daughter, I smiled. Screw science. My happiness was the only science that mattered. I thought with family support, everything would be smooth sailing. But I forgot. A corner dog will jump the wall. The system refused to accept defeat. It went silent in my head for 2 days, seemingly brewing a massive counterattack. Back in the city, it finally struck. I was in my study processing files, my mental guard down. The system seized the gap, initiating maximum authority. Forcible host body takeover. The cold mechanical voice rang out, and my body went rigid. I watched helplessly as my hand put down the pen, my legs stood up, and my body walked out of the room uncontrollably. I cursed wildly in my consciousness. 007. What the hell are you doing? The system sneered. Since the soft approach failed, don't blame me for playing hardball. Once the deed is done, you'll have to follow the plot. Bella's office is nearby. I've already made an appointment for you. Next, I will pilot your body to propose to her. My body had already walked out of the villa and into a self-driving car. Destination, Bella Sinclair's office tower. You dare. I was practically spitting blood and rage. Watch me. The system was fearless. I felt despair. Was I doomed to be a simp after all? Just then, a figure rushed out of the villa. It was Elena. She was hobbling on her crutches, chasing the car, her face full of panic. Julian, where are you going? The car accelerated ruthlessly, leaving her behind. I watched her shrinking figure in the rearview mirror, my heart feeling like it was being carved out. The car stopped at Bella's building. My body walked out uncontrollably. A large bouquet of red roses and a sparkling diamond ring materialized in my hand. Bella was already waiting downstairs, wearing a reserved smile. Employees gathered around to watch the show. My legs began to bend against my will. The system urged, kneel, propose, now. Just as my knee was about to touch the ground, a figure burst out from the crowd and tackled me in a fierce hug. It was Elena. She had taken a taxi and chased me down. She was drenched in sweat, gasping for air, one leg still in a cast, looking a mess. But her grip on my arm was ironclad. Julian, she called me by my full name for the first time, her voice carrying a sob and a desperate resolve. Wake up. You are not this kind of person. Look at me. It's Elena. Her scalding tears dripped onto my face. In that instant, it felt like a thunderclap detonated in my mind. The system's control loosened just a fraction. Now I used every ounce of my will, roaring, fighting for control of my body. Get out of my head. The next second, I felt a lightness return. I was back. I looked at the stunned Bella in front of me and the gaping crowd. I backhanded the roses into the nearest trash can. I grabbed Elena's hand, looked at Bella, and forced a cold smile. Apologies. Sleepwalking. Mistook you for someone else. With that, I held the still shaking Elena and, under everyone's shocked gaze, turned and walked away. System, you lose. I won the war against the system, but I almost lost Elena. Because she had publicly offended me and slapped me during the struggle, she fell into extreme panic and self-blame. She felt she deserved death and had no face to stay by my side. The next morning, I found her gone. On the nightstand, there was only a letter in the heart of summer necklace I had given her. The handwriting was elegant but stained with tear marks. Mr. Sterling, I am sorry. I offended you. I should not have overstepped my bounds, nor should I have held unrealistic fantasies about you. I am leaving. Please forget me. I wish you and Miss Sinclair 100 years of happiness. The system cheered in my brain. She's gone. Good riddance. The stumbling block is finally gone. Host, now is the perfect time to chase the heroine back. I clutched the letter, my hands trembling uncontrollably. My mind was filled with the images of the previous 99 lifetimes, the miserable deaths of those challengers. I suddenly understood that without Elena, even if I possessed all the money in the world, I was just a wandering ghost. Home. A place without her wasn't a home. Check the next flight out of the country. I roared the order at the system. Reluctantly, it gave me a flight number. I grabbed the car keys and rushed out. I drove like a maniac to the airport. I searched frantically through the massive departure hall. Finally, in a corner seat, I saw that small, curled-up figure. She was hugging her knees, burying her head in her arms, shoulders shaking, crying like a child abandoned by the whole world. My heart hurt so much it felt like it was shattering. I walked over and crouched in front of her. Elena. Hearing my voice, she jerked her head up. Her eyes were red and swollen. Seeing it was me, she shrank back in fear. Julian, I didn't mean to. Come home with me. I reached out my hand. She shook her head, tears falling faster. I don't deserve it. Julian, you are the clouds in the sky. I am the mud on the ground. I don't deserve to be by your side. Shut up. I couldn't hold it back anymore. I pulled her into my arms and held her tight. Who the hell is clouds and who is mud? The Sterling family fortune. You helped me protect half of it. My life. You save it time and time again. Without you, Julian Sterling is just a useless waste. I cupped her face, forcing her to look at me. Elena, listen clearly. I don't need some bullshit heroine. In my script, from beginning to end, the only protagonist is you. Passers-by turned to look, and some even started clapping. The system, for the first time, fell into a long silence in my mind. Looking at her tear-streaked face, I couldn't control myself any longer. I lowered my head and, in front of everyone, kissed her. Soft, warm, with the salty taste of tears. The moment our lips met, a long-lost system notification chime sounded, but the tone had changed. Ding! Strong emotional fluctuation detected. True love verification program initiating. Verifying. 10%, 50%, 100%. True love confirmed. The ending for the original hero and heroine wasn't as happy as the novel wrote. The cross-family business faced bankruptcy overnight due to a disastrous investment decision, one that Bella had strongly pushed for. The two turned against each other, the conflict getting ugly. Bella even came to find me, wanting to borrow money to restart. I had security stop her at the gate. Through the cold iron bars, I said only one thing to her. My money is only spent on the people I love. The system watched the original couple fall apart, its entire worldview collapsing. Why? Why is it like this? They're the official couple, made for each other. I held Elena, who was peeling an apple for me, and explained calmly. Because true love isn't arranged by a script, and it certainly isn't begged for through one-sided sacrifice. True love is understanding, it's effort, it's a mutual commitment to stay by each other's side through poverty and wealth. 6 months later, Elena and I held a grand wedding. We didn't invite the hero or heroine. The guests were friends and family who truly cared about us. My mother held Elena's hand, crying more emotionally than we were, and personally placed the heirloom jade bracelet I hadn't given away onto Elena's wrist. At the moment we exchanged rings, the system's notification sounded again. This time, no warnings, no mockery, just a line of calm text. Congratulations, host. Hidden ending achieved. Soulmates. Final mission rating, S-class. System disengaging. Wishing the host a happy life. In the last second before it detached, it asked me one final question. I still don't understand. Why did the previous 99 fail? I thought for a moment and told a joke. Guess why the previous challengers all ended up homeless and dead in a ditch? System. What? Because nobody falls in love with a doormat. The system went silent. This time, it seemed to really understand. Understood. I won't force the next host to be a simp. As the text faded, I felt a lightness in my mind. That noisy thing was finally gone. After the system left, my life returned to complete peace. Elena and I lived a life that was ordinary, but full of happiness. We would go to the supermarket together on weekend mornings like any normal couple. She would seriously select vegetables, while I pushed the cart behind her, secretly filling it with her favorite snacks. She was still used to taking care of everything for me, but I learned to take care of her in return. She made me soup, I peeled shrimp for her. She organized my ties, I bent down to tie her shoes. A few years later, we had a lovely daughter named June. Holding my delicately carved daughter, watching Elena busy in the kitchen, I occasionally thought of that noisy system. It all felt like a bizarre dream. On the weekend, I took Elena and June to a cemetery on the outskirts of the city. I stood in an empty field and spoke softly to the air. Brothers, rest in peace. I guess I lived out a decent life for all of us. Those 99 graves only existed in my mind, but those painful lessons were real. A breeze blew past, seeming to carry countless sighs of relief. I turned around. Not far away, Elena held our daughter under the bright sun, smiling gently at me. In that moment, I finally understood. Conquering the world, conquering the heroine, none of it matters. Life's true lesson is learning to love yourself first. Because only when you love yourself enough, when you're strong enough and clear-headed enough, do you have the ability to recognize and embrace the person who truly loves you. True love isn't humble begging, nor blind sacrifice. It is the mutual attraction and resonance of two independent souls. Love yourself before you love others. That is the greatest responsibility you can take for those who love you. And how lucky am I? After I started loving myself, I turned around and saw my whole world. Story complete.